right. Good morning, my friends. And here we are in November. Hard to believe. We are just days away, really, from Christmas and the end of the year. So make the best of this last couple of weeks to, bring in what you really wanted to in this year. Kind of a challenging year, I would think. And I love the focus of this month, the theme of this month, which is focus. We're focusing on focus. A good time of year to do that, since we're just about to get into the holiday period and lots of busyness, and maybe that sense of like focusing on wrapping up your year. And did you have goals that you wanted to accomplish? What do they look like? Where are you at with that? The fact is, our world is very, very busy, right? We live with external stimuli 24/7, whether it's on a small device, a big device, the outside world. We're constantly being kind of bombarded with those images, those messages. And as a result, it's very easy for us to lose our focus. We get trapped in all of that. And when we lose our focus, we lose our ability to kind of tune into ourselves. Yoga is one of the best activities that you can practice and do for not only creating focus, but maintaining concentration. Because when we are in a pose for a longer bit of time, for example, we have to maintain that concentration, that sense of awareness. And we do that through breath. And breath is our anchor. It's what kind of steadies us, it's what supports us, and it's what connects our mind to our body, right? We breathe and we bring the mind, which is so busy, right? It's always focusing outward. We bring it inward and down and into the body. And we do that through the regularity of our breath and really learning how to control our breath. So that's one link to focus that yoga provides. Another one is this concept called pratyahara. This is part of the 8 limbs of yoga. Pratyahara is the removal or the withdrawal of the senses. So what we aim to do is kind of bring that outer focus inward, remove the external stimuli, and get really present in our body through our breath and the practice of our poses. Oftentimes, this can be facilitated by actually closing our eyes. So I'm going to invite you today to close your eyes while we are in certain poses to see what happens, to see if you can't actually make that deeper connection, right, to your inner landscape rather than the outer landscape. And in my opinion, part of the reason why we feel so good after a yoga class is because we've actually turned all of that stuff off. We've had the ability to tune inward, and it's so refreshing. It's like hitting the reset button. So I hope that you might be able to walk away with a sense of that today after our practice. And like I said, I'm going to invite you not only to practice certain breathing techniques, but also to close the eyes and really remove that external stimulation. Okay? So go ahead and you can sit back in your chair if you'd like. We're just going to start with some breath work. Begin by bringing your knees over your ankles and just aligning your spine nice and tall, relaxing the shoulders down, and finding that tailbone anchoring point. From there, you just want to find a nice lift of your spine. So we don't want to be slumping in our seat, but finding an alertness, a brightness to our spine, and just letting the hands rest on the thighs. We'll go ahead and close the eyes. So from here, I just want you to start to experience that removal, that withdrawal of your senses with the eyes closed. And just taking a moment to kind of feel your body from the inside out, to notice your breath from the inside out, and to just be aware of how different that feels from when we have our eyes open. and we experience the world from the outside in. This is reversing that, inside out. Just let yourself settle. Find a nice connection through the soles of your feet. Maybe picking up all 10 toes and pressing the big toe mound and the heels into the ground, kind of activating that earth connection. Finding the sit bones. And just sitting in silence for a breath or two. I always feel like this is a nice way to open up the practice, because we don't often give ourselves that opportunity to be in silence. Pay attention to where your mind goes. It's going to want to jump around, and there's nothing wrong with that. But note how it settles. It begins to quiet down as you quiet down, and as the eyes close, there's less for the mind to attach itself to. And then I'll just invite you to keep your eyes closed and just try to follow my words and my cueing. If you need to open your eyes, fine, but try to do this with eyes closed. Bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart space. And just rest the palms over both places. And we'll begin a 3-part breathing exercise. For me, this is one of the most calming forms of breath work. It helps to really reduce anxiety. It helps to drop you into your body. It helps to make that mind-body connection quite directly. This can be done in a seated position. You could do it standing, or I often practice it before I go to bed or fall asleep, lying down in bed, because it helps to relax me fully. So I want you to imagine your torso in 3 separate parts: the belly, the rib cage, and the heart space. One hand on the belly, the rib cage is open, one hand on the heart. We're going to breathe into each section separately, then breathe into all 3, and find some nice long exhales. So let's begin with a deep breath in through the nose. Just feel the belly expand and push into your palm. Feel the breath rise through the ribs and all the way up to your chest. And then just exhale it through the nose. Press it out from the top of the lungs all the way down to the bottom. And see if you can feel your body contracting as you empty out. Let's do one more like that. Big full breath in. Starting down with the belly, it should rise and fill. The ribs should expand from side to side, and then a slight lift of your heart as you breathe in all the way to the top. And then a nice long exhale out through the nose, keeping the lips closed. Let's press that breath all the way out. Now on this breath in, just breathe into the belly. Hold it there. Feel that expansion, belly into palm. And then exhale it out really strongly so that you feel your navel pull back toward your spine. Now on this next breath in, fill up the belly and the rib cage, and then hold that breath at the top. Feel the ribs expanding side to side, belly into palm. And then exhale that out, feeling the contraction as you empty. And then on this time, all the way from belly through ribs and all the way up to your chest, you're going to hold that breath at the top so your whole torso is full of air. And then a nice long, slow exhale out, really following that exhale with your mind's eye. Let's do one more round. Inhale just into the belly and hold it. Feel the energy swirling around inside of you. Exhale that out, pushing the navel towards the spine as you empty. Inhale, belly and rib cage. So only 2/3 of the torso you're going to hold there. Contain the energy. Exhale that out, following the track of the breath with your mind's eye. One more time. Inhale, belly, ribs, and all the way up to the chest. So fill yourself all the way up. Big breath and hold. And then exhale that out through the nose, emptying, hopefully feeling a little bit more relaxed. And then one more round on your own. Inhale, belly. Hold. Long exhale. Inhale, belly and ribs. Hold. Extend the exhale. Last round. Inhale, belly, ribs, and chest. Hold and contain. Long, slow, extended exhale. Slowly press that breath out. Release your hands to your thighs and just take a moment, keeping the eyes closed. Notice your state of mind, and if you were able to tether the jumpiness of your mind a little bit through that practice. Hopefully you feel a little more grounded and a little more connected, mind and body. Let's ease the eyes open here. And I'll ask you to come forward onto your seat. So come to the edge of your chair, keeping the knees directly over the ankles, finding that nice upright spine. We'll do a little seated warm-up before we get into standing poses. Bring your arms alongside of you, turn the palms out and away from you. Stretch the heads of the shoulders down, root through the feet. Inhale, bring the arms up and overhead, reach up to the sky, turning the palms to face one another. And as you exhale, let your right hand drop down and your left arm reach over to the right side. Taking a side body stretch here. Now bring your awareness into that left hip crease and left sit bone. See if you can anchor it down just a little bit more strongly. And then bring awareness to breathing into your rib cage, expanding this whole left side. Make a fist with your top hand and let's roll that wrist around nice and slow. Bringing your awareness into the rotation and the sensation that you're feeling in that wrist flexor. Switch directions if you haven't already. Keep your gaze forward so that your throat stays nice and open. Reaching further. Open up your palm, spread out through the fingertips. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, we're going to do a little half cactus arm. So pull that elbow back and down and wrap that left shoulder back as you take your gaze up towards the sky. Breathe in here. I want you to feel what's happening in that shoulder joint on the left side. Opening up the heart space, wrapping your right ribs underneath you as you turn your heart up towards the sky. Take another breath in. And then exhale, re-extend the arm up and over to the right side. Good, inhale, both arms up now, palms face one another. As you exhale, take a twist to your left and make a T shape with your arms. So open them up at shoulder height. Reach actively through your fingertips and keep your hips and your knees squaring forward. So try not to let the knees walk in or kind of splay in towards one another. Find a rotation right from your belly button through the ribs and through the chest. Breathe as you reach out in both directions. And then wrap your left hand behind the back of your chair. Take your right hand to the outside of your left thigh. Going into a deeper form of a twist here. Now, if this is too much, you could use the inside of your right thigh instead. Take a deep breath in to lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, push your hand into your outer thigh and see if you can take your twist just a little bit deeper. So bringing out the spine here, getting it nice and warm for our practice. Looking over that left shoulder if that's available to you. Breathing in, breathing out. Now release the left arm, bring it up and overhead and lean out and over your right side. We're continuing to stretch that left side body. Drop into your body through your breath. Feel what it feels like to stretch that left side open. Notice how as the left side opens, the right side contracts. Breathing in, breathing out. Inhale, now rise up. Bring both arms up through center. Reestablish your seat. Nice work. Exhale, left hand comes down, right arm up and over. So taking the same sequence on the other side. Drop your awareness into your right hip crease, your right sit bone. Firmly anchor it down, even press into the right foot a little bit more and stretch out of that right hip. Awesome. How does this side feel different from the other? Make a fist with your right hand and roll out the wrist. Nice and slow. When we slow down, we give ourselves time to really feel what's happening, right? All that external stimulus can really push our buttons to go, go, go. And we place so much merit on multitasking anymore. It's really not worth it in so many cases because we can forget. Right? We can overdo, we can burn out. Good. Extend your palm open, reach a little bit further over to the left. See if you can get a deeper stretch. Nice work. Big breath in. Exhale that little half cactus. You're going to bend the elbow, reach it back. Wrap your right shoulder back and look up towards the sky if that's available to you. If it's not, look forward or even down, whatever the neck allows here. And then bring your mind's eye to your right shoulder joint, shoulder blade. Feel the chest opening, a really beautiful stretch across the center of the chest here. Good. Inhale, stretch the arm overhead one more time, reach. And then as you exhale, both arms come up. Straighten the spine. Big breath in, find some length. Exhale, T-twist to the right. So turning from the belly button, opening the ribs and the shoulders and the chest to the right side and stretching our fingertips nice and wide. Try to find that extension from left to right fingertips. Breathing in, breathing out. Wrapping that right hand behind the chair, bringing the left hand to the outside of the right thigh or the inside of the left, whatever feels best for you. Take that deep breath in to lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, just see how deep you can go in your twists. This side is different, so don't try to force anything if it doesn't feel right. But do try to wake up your spine. We want to get the fluids moving around in the spine, warming ourselves up from the inside out. And keeping the connection of your left hand to your right thigh. Inhale to bring the right arm up and overhead. And exhale to lean out and over that left thigh and kneecap. Stretching out the right side just a little bit differently here. Maintaining our seat, maintaining our anchoring quality, maintaining our breath. Stay in your body. Feel the breath moving here. When we twist, it can be a little bit more challenging to breathe steadily. So notice if you're taking shallower breaths or if you're kind of holding your breath, and see if you can bring that steadiness here. Good. Inhale, let's unwind, come back to center, lift the arms up and overhead. As you exhale, let's interlace the hands and then turn the palms up towards the ceiling. Another nice little stretch for the wrist flexors here as you push the heels of the hands up. If your shoulders have done this, try to relax them down. pull your lower ribs and your belly button in towards your spine. Support that low back and press into your feet. Beautiful, guys. Good. Now let the palms come to the back of the head and open your elbows nice and wide here. As we breathe in, we're going to wrap the elbows back. We're going to lift from the center of the heart and lift our chin as we open our throat and our heart space, and we find extension in the spine. As we exhale, you're going to tuck your chin, you're going to round and scoop your tailbone under. You're going to wrap those elbows in and around your head as you round the spine. So this feels very different. This is flexion as we round and open up the vertebra. Good, let's move between the two. Inhale, maybe close the eyes here. This would be a good place to withdraw the senses as we really focus on movement and breath. Exhale to wrap in, tuck and curl. Pull belly button towards spine. Inhale, find that extension. Open the heart, elbows nice and wide, lengthen the neck and the throat. Exhale as you wrap it in. Find a roundness. Let your shoulder blades protract on your backside. One more. Feel the articulation of the spine as you move with breath. Exhale to wrap it in. Good. Draw yourself upright. Relax the arms down, open the eyes, and just give the shoulders a couple of good rolls. Anything that would feel like a nice release to you. Now we're going to come into a standing sequence because when we stand, we focus. So some of it will include balance. Do the best that you can. We're going to use the back of the chair for support. So try to find a nice, steady, non-slippy surface for this portion of the class. Or use whatever, support feels good if you have a kitchen countertop or something nearby. So let's face the back of the chair, hold on at shoulder width distance apart, and we're going to walk ourselves back until we come into downward facing dog. I have a down dog here on my mat. This is a great stretch, not only for the spine, but our hamstrings. You want to let your chest just drop down between the shoulders. You want to feel the tailbone reach back and away from the shoulders. And stretch your ribs back towards your thighs. Now you can keep your heels on the floor, or if you want to go a little bit deeper, you might want to lift your heels, but let's play around with a little bit of movement. So anything that kind of feels good or natural to you, maybe a little pedaling out of one leg and then the other, coming up on the toes. Yeah, whatever feels good here. Getting those ankles warmed up and stretching out the bigger muscles in our legs. Should feel really good. It's a little bit of an inversion too. So going upside down is another way of kind of clearing out the busyness or the cobwebbiness of our minds. So oftentimes when we lose focus, right, we're not connected correctly. So just kind of clearing the slate by going upside down is a great practice. Good. Now with your feet underneath your hips, let's inhale high onto our toes. So lift your heels. You might even hear your ankles or the toes getting a little bit of a crack. As you exhale, bend your knees as much as you can and drop your tailbone back and down. Try to find a connection between your ribs and the tops of your thighs. And then inhale, press hard into those toes to straighten the legs, stay up on the toes. And then as you exhale, go ahead and press the heels towards the mat. Let's do that again. Inhale, raise up high. Exhale, bend the knees, dropping the tailbone back and down. Feeling a big stretch in the toes and the ankles. Drop your awareness there. Inhale now to stretch the legs to straight, staying high up on the toes. And then exhaling to let the heels drop down. Nice. Let's look forward. Walk ourselves towards the back of the chair, coming upright. And we'll come into mountain pose. So this is the foundation of all of our standing poses. Feet underneath the hips, palms facing forward, taking that strong foundational pressing into the feet so that you feel that connection. Press into the ball mounds of your big toes. Lift the pinky toes and then find the four corners of your heels and ground down. Energize your legs, so turn them on, lifting the kneecaps, pulling that energy up the front of the ankles and the shins. Stand nice and tall. We'll take a little balancing sequence here. So as you inhale, bring your arms overhead, palms are gonna face. As you exhale, you're gonna come up high on your toes and you're gonna let the arms drop back down. So a little balance work. If you wobble, I get it. Just wobble and come back in. Inhale to lower the heels, bring the arms overhead. Exhale, dropping into the body, whoop, lift the heels and lower the arms. This is really good work for the legs and the ankles and the feet. Inhale, slowly lower the heels, let the arms come up overhead. Exhale, one more time, lift those heels, press the arms down. Let's stay here and breathe. Wobble, feel the shake and the instability, but hug your legs in towards one another. Focus, focus. Good, beautiful. Inhale, arms overhead, heels lower down. And exhale, let the hands drop. Good. Inhale, one more time, arms up and overhead. Exhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. You're gonna drop your booty back and down. You're gonna imagine there's a block between your thighs and you're gonna give that block a good squeeze. You should feel the weight transfer into the heels of your feet. And if the arms extended out in front of you is too much, bring them out to the side or directly in front of the shoulders. Feel those lower leg muscles, lower body muscles really turn on and breathe. Find that steadiness. This is where the yoga breathing comes in, right? We're maintaining our concentration in a challenging pose. We're staying steady and focused thanks to our breath. Take another breath in. On the exhale, press into the feet and come to stand. Awesome. Notice the fire in the legs. That's a fiery, heated pose. Good job, everybody. All right, let's take more balance work. We're going to do it in tree pose. And I'll invite you to do something a little bit different here. So take whatever leg is closest to the chair and use that as your standing leg. The opposite foot on the opposite leg is going to come to the inseam of your standing leg. So it could be down here by the ankle or around the calf or all the way up to the top of the thigh. I want you to invite your knee, whichever one it is, left or right, to open to the outside. So you're making almost a 90-degree angle here, right? Pressing the knee out and away, and the hips are going to stay square to the front of your mat. You can use the back of the chair as support. And a really nice cue for this standing pose is to press the inner thigh or wherever your foot is touching. Press those two surfaces together and make a really strong connection. Root down through your standing leg. Find a focal point. This is called drishti in yoga, something steady and unmoving. And if you can, bring one or both hands to prayer in front of your heart. Now, when we balance, we have to stay focused. If the mind is moving around, the body will move around and we'll lose our balance. If you do lose your balance, don't beat yourself up. Just invite yourself back into the pose. Now, if this is easy for you, maybe you want to try to extend your arms overhead, reaching the palms out and away, opening the fingertips, sending energy out through them as you root down energetically through your standing leg. If this is easy for you, maybe you want to try to bring your arms back behind you and find an interlace. Press the palms together, open up the chest as you draw your arms away from you. Now, if all of those are easy and you really want to add another layer of challenge or balance, maybe bring the hands back to heart and try to close your eyes, even for a second. Chances are you'll lose balance, but you can use one hand on the back of the chair and just give it a try. See what happens when you remove that external stimulus. Woo, I'm going to lose balance a little bit, but I love the challenge of this, and I love to see what happens when the eyes go closed. All right, nice work, everybody. Wherever you are, let's release that. Hopefully you got to try it even for a second, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So you can move your chair or walk around. For ease purposes, I'll just stay here, but switch the standing leg and bring the opposite foot to wherever it feels best for you on this side. It could be different, which is fine. Find your connection through your standing leg, and then bring that opposite knee out, right from the hip, out and down. Square yourself off to the top of your mat, shoulders stacking right over the hips. Find your steadiness, and then invite the hands to prayer, or whatever version feels good to you. Remember to make that strong, almost like a magnet connection between the sole of your foot and your thigh, or wherever, your leg. If that feels easy, can you open your arms and extend? What's your breath doing? Where is your focus? Right, drop into your body and stay there. Maybe you want to try to open the chest a little bit, bringing the hands back behind you, find an interlace, and then pull the arms away from your low back. Stretching open, heart space. Good. And then let's try to close the eyes on this side. Maybe hands come back to prayer. Maybe you'd like to have a little support by fingertips to the back of the chair. But let's practice pratyahara, withdrawal of the senses. Notice how that changes the pose for you. Right? If you lose your balance, it's fine. It's all part of the practice. But closing the eyes can bring a wonderful difference, a new dimension to the pose for you. Awesome. Take another breath in wherever you are. And let's release that. Really nice work, everyone. All right, let's get into some standing poses, a little more heat here, really working the lower body. So setting up in front of the back of the chair, step your left foot all the way back. Right foot's going to stay forward. You're going to land on the ball of the back foot, and that left heel is going to stay lifted. Bend your right knee so that it stacks right over your right ankle. And then square your shoulders to the back of your chair. Find your drishti, your focal point in front of you. And as you feel steady, root into your legs. So there should be almost like a scissoring, kind of a hugging feeling in here, so that you're energetically drawing energy up. Extend your arms when you're ready. Take your gaze forward. And as you lift up through the fingertips, root down through your legs. Drop into that big stretch you're feeling in front of your left hip crease. Getting that hip flexor nice and stretched open. Beautiful. Nice deep breath in. On the exhale, press the palms together and drop them down to your heart. Take a deep breath in here. On the exhale, we'll practice a twist. So from the belly button, once again, let's turn towards our right side. And as you press your palms together, draw your elbows out and away from each other. Maintain your breath, maintain your foundation. Strong legs. Breathe in. As you breathe out, let's stretch the arms open straight like we did before. Reach out through the fingertips, shoulders and fingertips in line with one another. Keep rotating through your center. Big breath in. On the exhale, extend the arms back and forward, reach up, and then straighten that front leg. We're going to turn to the long side of the mat, and you're going to drop your left heel all the way down. So I'll show you from the back side on this side, and then I'll switch. Once you find the heel to arch connection here, bend into that right knee. So we're setting up for our warrior poses here. Walk your feet kind of wide. It's easier to maintain the balance and the pose when your feet are a little bit wider. And once you feel like you're nice and steady in the legs, extend your arms out. You're going to look past your right middle finger and invite your right knee to open to the right. So it's not caving in towards the center of your mat, but moving more towards your middle toe. Relax your shoulders down. Steady your gaze and your breath. Really feel the energy flowing through your legs and rooting you down to the earth. Find your breath. Stay in the pose. And now we'll take a little moving meditation, moving with breath. As we inhale, straighten the front leg and bring the arms to meet, palms overhead. As we exhale, we'll drop back down into warrior two. Maybe your gaze follows your right hand. Inhale to straighten. Follow and look up. Exhale as you rebend the knee. Follow and look forward. One more time. Inhale to straighten, to lift. Squeeze your inner thighs in together here. And as you exhale, let's go ahead and open into that warrior two. Now reach a little bit forward and take your right forearm either to your thigh, the hand to the back of the chair, or the seat of the chair, and stretch that right arm, or left arm, excuse me, overhead. Now your right sit bone might want to kind of wing out. Can you do your best to tuck it deep underneath you as you stretch from left toes to left fingertips? Drop your mind's eye into that long, straight, beautiful line of energy you're creating on the left side. Now look up at your hand. And as you inhale, take it back behind you. We're going to make a big circle. Follow the hand with the eye. As you exhale, bring it up and around. Inhale to take it back. Big, slow circular motion. Exhale up and overhead. One more time, inhale as you take it back, tracing the movement with your eye, and then exhale overhead. Reach long, and then we're going to go ahead and straighten that front leg as we come up. Bring your arms back to a T. This time, inhale as we stretch forward, keeping both legs straight. Exhale the right hand again to the back of the chair or the seat of the chair, as that left arm comes to 12 o'clock. Trikonasana pose, triangle pose. Both legs are straight. Right sit bone is pulling underneath you, tilting the hips forward, nice and long through the torso. See if you can turn your gaze up towards your thumb. Breathe into this shape, extending from tailbone to crown. One more breath in. On the exhale, press into the feet and rise up. I'm going to turn to face you. You're going to turn both of your toes to the long side of your mat, and you're going to turn them out and your heels in, setting up for goddess pose here. So a pretty wide stance, because when you bend your knees, you want your knees to stack over your ankles. Now, the knees are going to want to do this. Do your best to invite them open. And as you drop down in the tailbone, keep your shoulders centered right over your hips. So a nice long vertical spine here. The back of the chair is there if you need it for support. Dropping the tailbone down, feeling the nice opening through the hips here. Pretty intense and yummy. Good. Now let's bring our arms to cactus. So bring the elbows back and in line with the shoulders. Take a deep breath in. Let's pull those elbows back just a little bit more. And as you exhale, close them in and tuck your chin towards your chest. Good, inhale, open the chest and the elbows. Exhale, round it in, chin to chest, forearms and palms press. One more like that, staying nice and low and the hips open on the in-breath. And then exhale to close. Good, now open on the inhale, take a deep breath in. We're gonna do a lion's breath out with the exhale. It's gonna be a cleansing breath. It looks like this. Big breath in, let it go with a ha. Stick your tongue out, open your eyes nice and wide, cleanse and get rid of all that stuck air. Good, straighten the legs. Awesome work, everybody. Let's try this on the other side. So you may want to flip your chair around. This time the left leg is forward and the right leg steps back. Coming up onto the ball of that right foot, right heel is lifted, left knee stacks over left ankle. Square yourself off, get really rooted in your legs before you lift your arms. Really feel into the stretch of that right hip flexor. And as you're ready, arms come up and overhead. So no fireworks or fanciness in this pose, but a lot of concentration, right? We want to keep our chest open. We want to keep grounding through the legs. Find a presence and use your breath to drop in. Letting those inner shoulders relax. Keep pressing that back heel away, straightening that back leg. And breathe in. As you breathe out, let your hands come to rest together in front of your heart in prayer pose. Press the palms together, set the elbows wide. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale from the navel, we're going to twist to the left. Keeping the palms pressing, keeping the elbows moving left to right, right to left. Big rotation through the spine. Draw your left hip crease back. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, extend the arms out nice and straight like we did before. Reach out through the fingertips. Keep rotating the torso just a little bit more. Good, deep breath in. And then as you exhale, take the arms back up and overhead. And then pivot to the long side of your mat. Setting up for warrior two. So I will go ahead and face you guys for this. Left leg forward, right leg back, heel to arch alignment. Nice wide stance here so you can really drop into that front knee. Square the hips and the shoulders to the long side of the mat. Bring your arms out to a T. And let's look forward, out and past that left middle finger. Dropping into that front knee. Feel your legs turn on here. Find a steadiness. Find your breath. Activate your fingertips by reaching them away from one another. Drop your tailbone down, sink in just a little bit more. Good. And then let's move with breath. As we inhale, we'll straighten the legs, bring the palms to meet overhead. Maybe you can look up as that happens. As you exhale, rebend into your knee and look forward. Nice and steady. Inhale, move with your breath. Look up, palms meet, straight leg. Exhale, rebend and look forward. Soften the shoulders. Let's do one more. Inhale, grounding, lifting. Exhale, opening, sinking in. Beautiful. Stay here for a breath. Really connect to your feet. And then on the next in-breath, reach it a little bit forward. Exhale, left hand to the back of the chair, seat of the chair, or maybe even down to the thigh. Right arm up and overhead. Lean back just a little bit and kind of wrap that left sit bone underneath you as you extend out through your right hand, palm facing down. See if you can bring your awareness, maybe even close your eyes to that long line of energy you're creating here. It's a beautiful pose, side angle pose. creating this angle on our side. Good, now look up at your hand. Take a breath in and reach it back behind you. Follow it with your gaze. Exhale as you take it down and forward and up. Inhale back, nice and slow. Big rotation. Exhale, down, forward, and up. One more, inhale. And exhale. Take it back overhead, reach all the way overhead, and then come on up with straight legs and straight arms. Setting up for Trikonasana pose. Let's keep the legs as they are, nice and straight. We'll lean a little bit forward, reaching out as the pelvis tilts. Exhale, hand to the back of the chair or the seat, or maybe even your shin as that right arm comes to 12 o'clock. Lean back here. Right shoulder back a little bit more. Ground down evenly through your feet. Feel that triangular base that your legs are setting up for you. And breathe. In and out. Beautiful. Press through the feet. Let's rise up. Straight arms, straight legs. And on the exhale, this time we're going to turn both toes in and drop the heels away from one another. Hands are going to come to the hips. Wrap your shoulders back, draw the elbows back. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, let's fold halfway, just halfway down. Drawing the tailbone back, drawing the crown of the head forward. Now, if this feels good and you can maintain this and maybe want to go deeper, maybe one hand comes to the seat of the chair and the opposite hand comes to the ground. Maybe both hands come to the ground and you're able to drop the crown of the head down for an inversion, wide-legged forward fold. Nice stretch to lengthen out our spine. Maybe you feel this in your glutes and your hamstrings. Just let everything go here. You might want to shake out your head. Wherever you are, even if you maintain your hands on your hips, just kind of let something get a little bit loose here. Whatever variation you're in, think about extending the spine, opening up the back side of the body. Close your eyes and pay attention to your breath. Notice how it's changed and your relationship to it has changed over the practice. Good. If you're all the way down, bring your hands back to your hips. Slowly peel yourself all the way back up by pressing into the feet and bringing yourself upright again. Beautiful. All right, let's return to our chairs. So take a big step and then bring your seat back. And we're going to sit on the edge of the chair for our final closing poses here. So take a nice wide stance with your feet. Nice and wide. Sitting on the lip of the chair or the lip of the seat of the chair. And we're just going to start to windshield wiper the legs. So that right knee is going to drop and then the left knee. And you're going to feel this in your outer hips, inner hips. It's just a really nice way to kind of get into that hip joint, move it around a little bit. I love windshield wiper. You can all do this on the mat, seated, but it's really equally nice in a chair. Try to drop that knee down at a 90-degree angle as much as you can. Good job. Good. And then I'm going to turn my chair to the side so you can see where we're headed for this next two poses. This next one is called fish pose, and this is a beautiful chest and heart opener. So again, we're going to sit at the edge of the chair. We're going to hold on to the seat of the chair with our hands. Extend your legs out in front of you. As straight as possible, you can come onto your heels, whatever feels right. A little bend in the knees with the feet on the ground is fine too. So we're going to wrap our shoulders back and lift from the center of the chest. Take a nice deep breath in. You might want to close your eyes. And as you exhale, lift your chin up towards the sky. Reach from the corner of the collarbone, one side to the other. Point your toes forward if you can, and squeeze your shoulder blades together on your back. Find an arc in your spine, a lift of your heart. Take another breath in as we open up the front of the body. And then exhale to release. Oh, just love that pose. Love, love, love. Now keep your legs straight and extended, and we'll take the counter pose. We're going to fold forward in Paschimottanasana. So you can bring your arms overhead if you'd like. Deep breath. With the heels planted, maybe toes pulled back towards you. Exhale, forward fold. Now you can slide your hands down the front of your shins as well. This might be an easier way to access the pose. You may want to begin by keeping your spine kind of long initially, but then eventually just round into it. Tuck your chin to your chest, reach for your ankles or your toes, and close the eyes to feel the counter effects of this pose. So we were in extension in fish pose, and now we're in flexion. We're rounding in Paschimottanasana. You want to feel that tuck of the tailbone, the tuck of the chin towards the chest. See if you can kind of articulate that opening up of the spine, breathing into the spaces between the vertebrae. Relax your shoulders and your head. Feel the tailbone lifting out of that tailbone space and rounding forward. Taking one last opportunity here to explore our inner landscape with eyes closed. Good, one more breath. And slowly unwind yourself, maybe roll yourself back and up. Might feel really good, restacking the spine. Good, and then allowing yourself to sit all the way back in the back of your chair. Closing the eyes and just taking a few breaths here. Coming into our final little meditation, Shavasana. Let's all take a deep breath in. Let it go with a sigh. Let your shoulders relax. Let your belly and jaw soften. Just let your breath breathe naturally through you. Take a moment to notice if you feel a little bit more deeply connected to your inner world. Hopefully your mind feels a little clearer, a little sharpened by the practice of using breath and awareness, using our visual focus, using pratyahara, that withdrawal of the senses. All of those practices help to sharpen the mind, help us to maintain concentration. Give yourself a hug inside. Thank yourself for showing up. We always feel better when we give ourselves the gift of yoga, the gift of well-being, right? The gift of self-care. Bring the hands together in front of the heart. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, just let your chin bow towards your chest. It was my honor to guide you today. Thank you all for showing up. And may we all have greater ability to tune in, to focus, to enjoy the presence that we feel when we do. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. I hope that felt good. I hope that helped you tune in. Yay, I get some thumbs up. Awesome. Thank you.